after an apparent drunk driving crash claimed the life of their father. What this man meant to the neighborhood, he called home.
A shocking request from a convicted sex offender. Why this man wants to be castrated.
If you think it's cold now, just wait, when our high temperature could stay below freezing.
And battling the bureaucrats to save this little girl. Our local community is putting pressure on the FDA to give this cancer patient a fighting chance at life.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
We begin right away with some breaking news. An emergency landing involving a JetBlue plane headed from Florida to Boston. Good evening to you. I'm Jonathan Elias.
I'm Paula Evan. This plane did land safely, but after a bizarre accident on board, Lisa Hughes is here tonight with all the details. Lisa?
Well, Jonathan and Paula, an emergency evacuation slide actually deployed inside the plane while it was in mid-flight. Happened late this afternoon on JetBlue Flight 1266. This is a plane that took off from Fort Myers, and it wasn't long after that the incident happened. It forced the pilot to make an emergency landing in Orlando. What you're looking at here are live pictures from the Orlando International Airport. The plane taxied to the terminal after it landed. There were 78 people on board this plane. Nobody was hurt. Also want to take a look now at the plane's flight path. Keep in mind, this is extremely unusual. Follow the green line from Fort Myers. You can see the plane had just cleared the Florida coast when the slide deployed. The plane then diverted to Orlando. Right now, we're lucky enough to have Steve Cunningham with us. He's with the National Flight Simulator. That's a pilot training facility. He joins us now on the phone. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking about how unusual this is. Give us a sense what it would have been like for the passengers and crew inside the plane, Steve.
Yeah, well, Lisa, it very much would be like an airbag in a car deploying. Because the door was closed, the airbag could only go back into the cabin. Right behind the cockpit, in all likelihood. I'm guessing that it was a front door bag, and it really probably rattled the passengers and the crew as well. I don't think that it created any apparent safety damage or questions at all, because it deployed inside the bag, and the bag deployed inside the cabin, and just probably filled up the doorway some, but I'm sure it got people's attention. And they did the right thing, land at the nearest airport and take care of what needed to be done with both the passengers and the airplane.
Steve, JetBlue boasts one of the youngest fleets in the air right now, and we've been talking about how unusual this is. There have been other cases where planes have had chutes or emergency slides deployed from the wing outside, but for this to come inside the airplane seems really unusual.
Well, there was no place for it to go. Because they're built in as a part of the door. The door has to be open, and then the chute comes out the bottom of the doorway so that the passengers can jump on it and slide down when the airplane's on the ground. Because the door was sealed and pressurized, whatever tripped this, whether it was electrical or mechanical, pardon me, inadvertently, the only place it could go was in the opposite direction, which would back into the cabin.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it created any danger at all in the cabin, other than clearly frightening someone, or somebody happened to be in front of it as it deployed. They get pushed up against the wall.
and what do you think happens next? They take a look at this plane. Will they look at others in the JetBlue fleet, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. They'll look at that, and they'll look at this at the Embracer 190 and see if they can figure out what caused this inadvertent release of the airbag.
All right, Steve Cunningham with the National Flight Simulator, thank you very much. We're closely watching this breaking story. We just got a bit of new information, and that is that the flight is expected to take off from Orlando for Boston at 5 o'clock this evening. But we'll have new information coming in, and as we get it, we'll pass it on to you. Jonathan, Paula?
All right, Lisa, thanks.
Lisa, thank you. And more breaking news tonight. A teenager arrested in connection with a deadly hit and run. Investigators say 18-year-old Eric Megna made up a story to try to cover his tracks. Investigators say on October 11th, the teen hit and killed a father of two from Middleborough.
Whitney Burbank joining us live now in Middleborough with more on this story tonight. Whitney?
Yeah, Paula, Jonathan, Middleborough police here have a college student in custody in that hit-and-run death of 58-year-old Michael Dutra. Prosecutors say on October 11th, 18-year-old Eric Megna was driving home from UMass Dartmouth when he allegedly struck Dutra. Dutra was hit while riding his bike near his house, and prosecutors say Rather than stop and assist the dying father of two, Megna allegedly fled to his family's New Hampshire vacation home. A few days later, Megna told New Hampshire police that he hit a deer while driving home on Route 93. Prosecutors tell us Megna sent a picture of a dead deer to his mother, and they say she showed it to investigators. But police found out the photo was actually taken from the internet. Now, Megna is expected to be arraigned in Wareham District Court tomorrow. For now, we're live in Middleborough. Whitney Burbank, WBZ News. Back to you.
Whitney, thank you. Well, reality is now setting in. The cold weather seems to be here to stay.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher is here tonight with a first look at your forecast. We're talking real cold.
The real cold is on the way, believe you me. Tonight is not the real show just yet. It is quiet all across the Northeast. Not much going on in our neighborhood. Mainly clear skies. It will stay that way tonight, and it will certainly be chilly, down to the 20s for overnight lows. A couple of teens possible. Western Mass, some of the valleys and around the Monadnock region, and into northern Worcester County. Boston staying around 30, and low 30s to upper 20s out toward the Cape. Tomorrow, another very cold start to the day. Not much wind to deal with tomorrow. Good amount of sunshine. Should feel pretty decent. It will be a little bit warmer than what we saw today. Mid-40s around lunch, mid to upper 40s in the afternoon, and then falling back in the evening. Now, there is a chance for some rain as we head toward Friday and Saturday morning, and then the big Arctic cold. We'll talk about that in the timeline coming up in a little bit. Jonathan?
Eric, thank you. A family man gone in an instant. Hit and killed by a woman police say was out driving drunk. Investigators say that 71-year-old Vittoria Recupero was stopped in the breakdown lane on I-95 in Reading when a driver just slammed right into him. He died at the hospital. Beth Germano joining us live in the Satellite Center with more on this story. Beth?
Jonathan, an incredibly tragic story. The victim was on his way home to Wakefield last night. It's unclear why he stopped on the highway, but now a driver is charged with killing a man who's known in a Boston neighborhood for his fine craftsmanship.
I'm happy. He's part of the fabric. He's part of the real deal.
Because Carla Loconti didn't see the greats go up this morning at the fine tailor shop in Boston's North End for what seems like the first time in 30 years. The owner, 71-year-old Vittorio Recupero, killed last night in a drunk driving accident.
Just a good guy. A hard-working man. We said hello every single time in shock.
And not just a fine tailor, but a judo enthusiast and teacher at this Somerville studio. A passion that started as a boy in Italy. And everyone in the neighborhood marveled at his strength.
He always wanted you to join the judo class. And every now and then he'd throw a kung fu chop at you to drop you to your knees real quick. You know what I mean?
But in court today, 32-year-old Mary Gregoriadis of Brockton was charged with motor vehicle homicide, allegedly striking and killing Vittorio Recupero on Route 95 in Reading when he had pulled over last night in the breakdown lane. Troopers say she failed a roadside sobriety test.
They noted a strong odor of alcoholic beverage coming from her person, and she appeared to be intoxicated to the troopers.
A lot of people have missed my uncle, he's a well-liked guy down here, and it's just wrong.
His shop was a gathering place for coffee and conversation, and a fixture in the community is gone.
Well, everybody knows Victor. It's one of the last tailor shops there is. I mean, you can't find these anymore.
Now, Vittorio Recupero called his wife last night to say that not enough students had shown up for his Tuesday night judo class, and he was heading home early. That's the last time his family was able to contact him. The driver is being held on $10,000 bail. In the Satellite Center, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News.
This was the scene last night. Cheers and applause in Milford as voters defeated Foxwoods' proposal to bring a casino resort to their town. That means now Everett is the only remaining plan eligible for the state's single Eastern Mass casino license.
WBZ political analyst John Keller's been covering the casino fight from the very beginning. And John, this has been an unpredictable battle. Where do we go next?
Well, Paula, Jonathan, unless new proposals come in before the New Year's Eve deadline, it'll be up to the State Gaming Commission to rule on whether or not any of the 4 surviving plans statewide make the cut. But the string of recent referendum defeats could also boost a budding movement to repeal the casino law outright.
Yes, absolutely.
An eager signer of a petition to make casinos illegal again, which could be headed to your ballot next November.
When people look under the hood, they realize it's a lemon.
And to this backer of the repeal movement, the emphatic result in Milford and support for the petition are the public's way of sending Beacon Hill a wake-up call. Do you think the governor and the other casino supporters made a mistake up here?
I think they made a big mistake.
And I think they made a gross miscalculation how the public will feel about this.
The people of Milford have spoken.
But to Governor Patrick, the casino law is working the way it's supposed to. Do you have any second thoughts about the reasons why you supported the casino bill in the first place?
No, I don't. This is, I think this is something we can do well if we do it the right way. I think the framework of the legislation, John, is the right framework.
Well, I've been surprised that the backlash has been as great as it has.
But while this casino supporter opposes repeal, his complaints about the law echo those of the anti-casino forces.
The model I had always hoped for from the beginning was maybe one, expanded gaming at a track and then leave it alone. I never liked the model where people from around the world with multinational interests would come in and stick the straw in the Commonwealth and suck it dry.
And this repeal movement trooper hopes the political elites are getting the message.
I just wish they would repeal it themselves and not maybe go through all this work.
Now, while they work to wipe out the law altogether next year, casino opponents are exploring other short-term options. Mayor Curtatone of Somerville tells WBZ his city may go to court to stop the casino plan for neighboring Everett. Paula, back to you.
Heller, thank you. Well, a school bus crashed on the Mass Pike today, right near the Prue Tunnel exit. Take a look. This bus from the Boston schools hit the guardrail and it had to be towed out of there. There were 3 people on the bus at the time. The driver and 2 students were not seriously hurt. And large buses will soon be equipped with seatbelts under a new ruling by the U.S. Department of Transportation. Beginning in 2016, new buses will need to be built with lap and shoulder belts. The ruling applies to all large buses except for city transit and school buses. They're exempt. Many bus companies are already voluntarily complying with this requirement. Jonathan?
Well, Paula, President Obama's approval ratings now the lowest they've ever been. A CBS News poll shows this. 46% just last month, that was his approval rating. Now, 37% of Americans approve of the job that the president is doing. And here's why. The Health Care Act. Last month, 43%, or just 2 months ago, 43% of the people approved of it. Now, only 31% of Americans approve of the Affordable Care Act, which is, again, down 12 points just since October. Paula?
Well, coming up, a convicted sex offender facing new charges volunteers to be castrated. What he wants in exchange, and the judge's response.
Plus, you want to get the most benefit of your daily low-dose aspirin? When you take it, really could make all the difference.
And the toys you may want to avoid this holiday season. The annual list is out. The worst toys on the market. And what the toy industry has to say about it.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Right now at Luna, get an incredible 70% off carpet, hardwood, and laminate flooring.
877-241 Luna.
What does it feel like to get a great deal at Happy Honda Days? Like this. Catch the spirit with a great deal on a 2013 Civic with standard features like Bluetooth and a rear view camera from KBB.com's best value brand. Right now at your Honda dealer.
Today's the day. It's Sleepy's one-day mattress sale. Every Simmons mattress in the store is on sale. With Beauty Sleep Queen sets as low as $2.99. Sleepy's, the mattress professionals, making the world a better place to sleep.
With the exceptional values at the Season of Audi sales event.
Visit AudiBurlington.com.
Rod Stewart. Live. December 4th at TD Garden. Same night, same ticket. Steve Winwood. Hit after hit from 2 of the greatest singers of all time. Great seats available now at Ticketmaster.com or by phone. Don't miss Rod stylish winter-ready RAV4, a top safety pick, equipped with Toyota's most advanced all-wheel drive system. So see your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive specialist. Clear enough? Ask someone you know who drives an all-wheel drive Toyota.
Before you start shopping for all the items on your children's holiday wish list, you definitely want to see this story.
The group World Against Toys Causing Harm, or WATCH, they just released a list of some of the most dangerous toys that are out there on the market that you might even know about. Michelle Roberts shows us what you want to avoid.
To a 10-year-old, this matte steel sword may look awesome, but James Schwartz with World Against Toys Causing Harm, or WATCH, says it's not safe.
There's only one thing children, of course, are going to do with something like this. Potential for blunt force injuries.
Also on the top 10 worst toys of the season, the Black Widow slingshot. It's illegal to sell in Massachusetts, but is available online, recommended for children 6 months and up.
This slingshot is not a toy. It's a weapon. It looks like a weapon. It is a weapon.
WATCH warns parents to avoid any toys that look like weapons. In October, an officer in California shot and killed a 13-year-old boy who was holding a toy rifle that looked almost identical to the real thing. The only difference, an orange tip.
If it's dark, or if I happen to be even slightly inventive and use a little black tape, that becomes no different, at least visually, from the real thing.
Parents are encouraged to look for potential choking hazards like the drumsticks that come with the little drummer set, and read the label before putting any present under the tree.
Warning, contains lead, may be harmful if eaten or chewed, may generate dust containing lead.
Michelle Roberts, WBZ News.
Now, the toy industry sent out a statement saying, in part, this year's WATCH report once again needlessly frightens parents. Members of the toy industry want to ensure that the products consumers bring into their homes are safe for their families. Now, for the group's complete list of this season's 10 worst toys, go to our website at cbsboston.com. We have put it there for you.
Have you made your Thanksgiving holiday travel plans yet? Well, AAA expects 43.4 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from home over the long holiday weekend. About 600,000 fewer than last year. And 90% of those travelers will be going to Grandma's house by car, so you can expect the roads to be packed. And the busiest travel day, November 27th, as always, the day before Thanksgiving.
Hey, check out the scene near Fort Lauderdale. Look at that thing. Several waterspouts off the coast. Up to 3 waterspouts could be seen at the same time. Now, if you're out in a boat, Eric, I got to imagine that is something that will get your full attention.
You want to keep your distance. We had that video, remember, earlier on this year. The boaters are going right through the waterspouts. Right. That's at your own risk territory right there.
But everybody walking outside their house today, they got their full attention to what's going on outside. It's cold.
It's a little cool. It's a little cool. You think it's cold?
Not yet. It's chilly. It gets your attention.
Wait do you see Wellness Graphic should get your attention. If you think today is chilly, look what happens as we head toward the weekend and beyond. Yeah, it's coming, folks. 47, about the high temperature tomorrow and Friday, also in the 40s, maybe around 50 on Saturday. And then the bottom will drop out as we head towards Sunday and Monday. Big blast of cold air is on the way. Coldest air of the season. Now, as we head into here and now, well, tomorrow morning we'll be starting off on a cold note in the 20s as we kick off our Thursday, getting ready for the end of the week. We'll be in the 40s tomorrow afternoon. The main story for tomorrow, the fact that there won't be any wind and a good amount of sunshine that'll make it feel pretty comfortable. We'll be falling through the 40s as we head toward the evening. There's not much going on across the Northeast. Lots of clear skies, lots of starlight for the moment. We are watching a little weak system out toward Chicagoland, and that's going to be working its way eastward. That will spill some cloud cover as we head through in the course of the next couple of days. So around the region for tomorrow, maybe still some 30s, northern New England, 43 in Fitchburg, Boston at 48, Nantucket around 49, which is in reality right on target for this time of the year. Here's some of those cirrus clouds that will start to move in from that system from the west. So tomorrow afternoon and evening, I think this is going to make for a really nice sunset, good texture to the sky. Not so good as we head toward Friday morning. The clouds will begin to thicken. It's a mainly gray day on Friday. A couple showers are going to be out there. You can see they're speckled, few and far between. But it looks like a damp and gray day as we head through your Friday forecast. So 40s for your high temperature there. Showers will be really early on Saturday. Then we clear out. Then we get to the cold. Got the full details on that coming up next half hour. Jonathan, Paul, over you.
All right, Eric, thank you so much.
Hey, you know, it looks like we're going to have some good weather on Saturday night for the Faneuil Hall tree lighting. That's great night. Extravaganza will be so much fun. You can join us as singer Paula Cole and Maestro Keith Lockhart perform. The fun starts at 7:30 right here on WBZ.
Well, it's bound to be one of the best football games of the season. Sunday night's matchup between the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. And to win, the Pats know they've got to put that controversial call that ended Monday night's game against the Panthers behind them. Steve Burton is here tonight. Not going to be easy for a lot of fans to do.
What controversial call? What call are you talking about? No one in Foxborough wanted to talk about the Panthers game today. It was all about the Broncos. And here's some good news going in. Tom Brady is 9-4. 9-4 overall against Peyton Manning. But the Patriots will have their hands full because Denver is 9-1 and on pace to shatter the Pats record for most points scored in the season. Brady has 14 touchdown passes this year. Peyton, 34. But number 12 says this isn't a head-to-head matchup.
I mean, I don't have to play against them. I think that's the thing. It's more of the defense that plays against them. You realize when you play a good team, another good quarterback, that you're going to have to score a lot of points. And we try to score points anyway, but it's a very good football team and led by a great quarterback, one of the best of all time. So I'm excited to see how we do.
Oh, aren't we all? Coming up at 6, Tom Brady talked about his old friend returning to face the Pats on Sunday. That would be Westbrook. Guys, back.
All right, Steve, thanks. Well, he's a musician, an actor, and a reality show judge.
Coming up, People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive.
And a young New Hampshire girl battling a devastating form of cancer. When we return, how the community is rallying around her to help her get the drug that could save her life.
Then coming up on our 6 o'clock news tonight, fighting to salvage their season.
The message of hate that sidelines Lunenburg's football team, and new at 6, the support now building in town to give the football team its Thanksgiving game back.
And coming up about 6:15 or so, 6:20, Wednesday's Child, you're going to fall in love with Meg. She's funny, happy, a 15-year-old gal.
And Meg is telling Jack the kind of family she hopes to find and the big dreams she has for her future at 6.
The Philippines has been devastated by Typhoon Haiyan. Thousands have lost their lives and there's been massive property damage.
The victims urgently need your help. Visit cbsboston.com for information or to make a donation.
CBS Boston cares.
It's Boston's best and brightest holiday tradition, the Faneuil Hall Tree Lighting Spectacular, hosted by Jonathan Elias and Lisa Hughes, with performances by Paula Cole and Keith Lockhart and the Tanglewood Festival Chorus, plus appearances by Boston's favorite sports teams and a special guest from the North Pole. Saturday at 7:30 on WBZ and MyTV 38. Presented by IBEW Local 103 and NECA. WBZ is your home for the holidays.
There are a lot of great reasons to visit the Kia sales event. Because you can test drive an Optima with an available GDI turbo engine. A Sorento with available third-row seating and a power liftgate. Or a Forte, which gets an estimated 36 mpg highway. Plus, every Kia comes equipped with one of these. Looks like that test drive can last a lot longer than anticipated. See your local Kia dealer for great deals during the year-end sales event.
Are you depressed or feeling blue? Have you lost interest in your usual activities? Have you noticed a change in your sleeping and eating habits? Doctors at the Depression Clinical and Research Program at Massachusetts General Hospital are working to develop new antidepressant treatments and studying the treatments that are currently available. Eligible participants will receive psychiatric evaluation, study treatment, and regular visits with study clinicians at no cost. For more information, call 1-855-35-BLUES or online at massgeneral.org/depression.
With one unforgettable shopping day, you can own every moment. This is Premium Outlets. Legendary brands. Abundant selection. And real savings of 25 to 65% every day. Who says you can't have it all? Premium Outlets. Shop brilliantly.
At Volkswagen, we believe everyone deserves a better car. And now, during the Sign and Drive sales event, you're closer to yours than ever. Like the turbocharged Tiguan, the midsize Passat, or the 34 Highway MPG Jetta. And every new 2014 Volkswagen comes with no charge scheduled maintenance, all for practically just your signature. The Sign and Drive sales event is back, and it's never been easier to get a new Volkswagen. Get zero due at signing, zero down, zero deposit, and zero first month's payment on any new 2014 Volkswagen. Hurry, this offer ends December 2nd.
There's a local schoolgirl who has a big battle on her hands with a devastating diagnosis.
Her family and friends right now are taking her fight online. As New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield shows us, they're hoping that the White House will hear their plea.
Yeah, that's the one that you're going to ride, right?
Mackenzie Lowe wants to be a veterinarian someday, and she plans to accomplish that goal.
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, nothing's been really bothering me about any of this.
At just 12 years old, she already faces big challenges. You wouldn't know it by looking at her, but she's been diagnosed with DIPG, an inoperable brain tumor.
You know, that's the only word I didn't want to hear was inoperable. But she's doing good. She's handling it. So, for the most part.
Her grandfather, Frank LaFountain, has started this online petition to sway the federal government to allow Mackenzie to take a controversial drug that has not been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
She's doing great. She has gone through radiation and chemo, but the tumor has grown back.
Family and friends are hoping to collect 100,000 signatures. So far, they have about 3,000. They believe this drug could be her best chance at survival.
If this were your child, you know, and this was a chance that she could have compared to no chance, how could you not do it?
The hope is to give the 6th grader every possibility so she can handle the disease just like she handles the farm animals she helps care for.
And when it's like really fluffy, then she'll really get me like.
With ease and grace. In Hudson, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
If you'd like to learn more about the petition, we do have a link for it right on our website. Go to cbsboston.com.
Some good news tonight. The MSPCA says that the beagle that was stolen from the Nevins Farm Adoption Center has been returned. In fact, we showed you this surveillance video. On Saturday, an elderly couple walked the dog named Sophie right out of the Methuen Center. The man in the video returned Sophie this morning. Here's a picture of her. She's in good shape now. The couple accused of taking her, now facing larceny charges.
Well, we're watching some breaking news tonight.
Yeah, big scare on a plane that was bound for Boston. What happened on board that forced the pilot to make an emergency landing?
And a pastor suspended for helping his gay son tie the knot here in Massachusetts. What he thinks of his punishment and what he plans to do next.
Plus a wild request in court. What a sex offender wants to do to reduce a possible prison sentence.
They're setting up shop in town after town, in quiet plazas, on suburban streets.
And they're operating in plain sight, absolutely.
With names like Body Works or Reflexology.
They are doing a big business.
But the I-Team found something else happening inside.
It sickens me.
The alarming secret and a growing problem for local police. Thursday on WBZ News at 11.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
Meet your Chevy Equinox. Say hello to an EPA estimated 32 mpg highway.
Hello, Equinox.
Your phone is now synced with Bluetooth.
Look, 2 hands.
I feel good knowing you got exactly what you wanted.
I feel good. You feel good? Is this a great day or what?
Visit your New England Chevy dealer. Just announced, get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on the 2014 Chevy Equinox for a total cash allowance of $1,000.
Xfinity versus Fios. Who comes out on top? Xfinity gives you 3 times the in-home Wi-Fi speed. Xfinity has way more Wi-Fi hotspots, more shows available on demand, and streaming online. And Xfinity can record 4 shows at the same time. Fios just 2. Fios talks big, but only Xfinity delivers. See for yourself at getallthefacts.com. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Santander. Introducing Santander, a bank for your ideas. Find out more and get started today at santanderbank.com.
Sometimes, less is more. Especially when it comes to knee surgery. See this apple represents your knee. With total knee replacement, the entire surface has to be removed. But with the Oxford Partial Knee from Biomed, you keep up to 75% of your healthy knee for a more rapid recovery with less pain, more natural motion, and a lifetime implant replacement warranty. The new study also shows Oxford patients were more than twice as likely to be satisfied with their ability to perform daily activities compared to total knee patients. Not all patients are candidates for partial knee replacement. Risks include, but are not limited to, loosening, dislocation, fracture, wear, and infection, any of which can require additional surgery. Only your surgeon can tell if this surgery is right for you. Why get a total knee if all you need is a partial? The Oxford Partial Knee. For a surgeon in your area, go to oxfordknee.com.
WBZ News in the morning. Let's start the day together.
Now at 5:30, breaking news. A JetBlue flight that left Fort Myers, Florida on its way to Boston made an emergency landing in Orlando tonight. The plane was in the air when the emergency chute opened inside the aircraft. Now, no one was hurt inside the aircraft.
It landed safely, and we have on the phone with us Sean Chayabot, who's with our sister station in Orlando, who is joining us live tonight. Sean, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much. What's the latest you can tell us about what happened here?
Yeah, well, Paula, we're actually at the Orlando International Airport, hoping, of course, to try to talk to passengers who might have experienced this. It'd be interesting to see what they are able to relay. But here's what we know from talking to the FAA as well as representatives from the Orlando International Airport and JetBlue. JetBlue flight 1266 had to make this emergency landing around 3:40 here at OIA after somehow that emergency evacuation slide deployed inside the aircraft. We know that it only partially deployed. The FAA says all indications are that emergency door didn't open. There was no depressurization of the cabin. And again, no one was injured. But 78 people, including passengers and crew, were on that flight. They had to make this emergency landing, then had to, of course, to the gate where an emergency stairwell was, of course, brought to the door. Those passengers were able to evacuate. All of them are off that plane now, and it's unclear exactly what's going to happen with those passengers before they can get back to Boston Logan.
Sean, we were hearing that they were going to transfer these folks off this plane and get them on another plane and get them, wheels up pretty quick. Have you heard if they've already taken off for Boston yet?
That's unclear. I do not have that information. We've got a call into, of course, JetBlue trying to figure out what they're doing with all of these passengers. It's not clear yet.
All right, Sean Chayabot from our sister station WKMG down in Orlando, Florida. We appreciate your time this afternoon. Again, nobody injured, but that flight obviously is sitting on the ground now while they try and figure out why the slide deployed in the air.
Harrowing moments there for a lot of folks. Glad to see everyone is safe. Tonight's not much going on in the weather department, just cold air. We felt it today. We'll definitely feel it during the overnight hours. On the average, about 25 for your low, but there will be some upper teens, especially out north and west of Boston. Northern Worcester County, one of those cold areas tonight with mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, another quiet day, a lot of sunshine, some high cirrus clouds. We'll do a little bit better in terms of temperatures. Mid to upper 40s, which is about average for this time of year, and really no wind to deal with, which makes all the difference this time of year, especially when those temperatures start to drop. Chilly weather is going to stick around for quite a while. A few showers in the forecast Friday into the very early hours of Saturday, but really not expecting too much out of this one. And that bitter winter cold is on the way. It is here by Sunday morning. We've got the timeline for all of it coming up in about 15 minutes. Jonathan?
All right, Eric, thanks. Tonight, an unusual request from a registered sex offender accused of molesting more than a dozen children. He wants to be castrated in exchange for a shorter sentence.
But as Sarah Kanji shows us, it doesn't seem as though prosecutors are interested in a deal.
Prosecutors want to send John Burbine to prison for up to 100 years for sexually assaulting dozens of children at a Wakefield daycare center.
Should we have an exam by a doctor?
But today in court, Burbine's defense attorney suggested another punishment, 15 years in prison plus castration.
We asked for funds, monies to get what's called the bilateral oreectomy, which means basically they would take up the testicles, the spermatozoa cord, and the result of that being that he would lose all sexual ability, function, and desire.
Burbine's trial is not even scheduled yet, so the judge denied the defense request, but left the door open for discussion once there's a verdict. Burbine's attorney admits this effort is to see if prosecutors will negotiate a deal.
So what we're trying to do is flush out. Can we make a deal? And is there a plea?
It doesn't appear prosecutors will deal. In court, the ADA, Catherine Folger, said the castration offer would not change their sentencing recommendation. And Burbine's defense attorney seems to concede his client's guilt, asking the judge for a doctor to examine him.
Given the things that John has done, I think it just I think most everyone would say that it's sick stuff. And so what we've done is filed a motion for funds, and that motion will allow us to hire a doctor, which we have, and that doctor will see John to determine whether or not he appreciates the wrongfulness of his conduct.
The defense attorney asked the court for $7,500 for that doctor's exam. The judge denied the request, instead wanting a better accounting of that money. If John Burbine were to eventually be castrated, that too would be paid for by taxpayers. In Woburn, I'm Sarah Conji, WBZ News.
Well, it was a case of right place, right time for Quincy police officers. They intercepted a major drug deal outside of an apartment complex. Now, the plainclothes detective seized 47 pounds of marijuana and $37,000 in cash. The officers were watching for suspects on an unrelated tip, and that's when they saw the deal go down. Police arrested these two guys. They say that the marijuana has a street value of about $120,000.
A United Methodist minister convicted by a church jury for performing the same-sex marriage of his son here in Massachusetts says he believes the church needs to change with the times. Last night, the jury voted to suspend the Reverend Frank Schaefer for 30 days. He performed the son's wedding back in 2007. Schaefer told the jury he agonized over the decision to violate church teaching, but says it was the right thing to do.
This wasn't done as a protest. You know, this was done out of love for my son, and it was a very difficult thing for us, and we struggled with it. But in the end, I had to say to my son, I love you and I affirm you, and I'm going to do this no matter what.
At the end of his suspension, Schaefer must decide whether he can return to church ministry. He says he can't promise he won't perform more gay marriages. 2 of his other children are also gay.
A Florida congressman just pleaded guilty to cocaine possession. Henry Trey Riddell will spend the next year on probation. Today in court, the first-term Republican admitted that he bought 3.5 grams of cocaine from an undercover agent. The 37-year-old Riddell says that he struggles with alcoholism and will seek treatment and counseling. Well, New York City's mayor just signed a law making it illegal to sell tobacco to anyone under the age of 21. This law goes into effect in 6 months, also covers electronic cigarettes. Mayor Michael Bloomberg says that raising the legal purchase age from 18 will help prevent another generation from the illnesses and shorter lifespans associated with smoking. And whether you're paying for yourself or the whole family, the cost of all that talking, texting, and web surfing can really add up. So coming up next for us, how to make sure you're not overpaying for your cell phone plan.
And a big announcement from the original American Idol, how Kelly Clarkson told fans she's going to have a new title.
It's Happy Honda Days, our biggest sales event of the year. At Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, and at Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda Civic for just $48 per month. Come on down! That's right, lease a brand new Civic for just $48 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. Don't get caught by surprise. Ask an independent agent about safety insurance enhanced coverage for auto, home, and business. Safety insurance will help you manage life's storms.
Come on, kids, we gotta go. Oh, now I gotta go. Oh, can you make that to go?
These days, nobody has time to get sick, but MinuteClinic makes it easy to get well. Our nurse practitioners can diagnose and write prescriptions for everything from strep throat to sinus infections with no appointment necessary, so you can feel better in no time.
You guys want to go to the park? Yeah!
MinuteClinic, the medical clinic in CVS Pharmacy, accepts Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Find a clinic near you at MinuteClinic.com.
At Volkswagen, we believe everyone deserves a better car. And now, during the Sign and Drive sales event, you're closer to yours than ever. Like the turbocharged Tiguan, the midsize Passat, or the 34 Highway MPG Jetta. And every new 2014 Volkswagen comes with no charge scheduled maintenance, all for practically just your signature. The Sign and Drive sales event is back, and it's never been easier to get a new Volkswagen. Get 0 due at signing, 0 down, 0 deposit, and 0 first month's payment on any new 2014 Volkswagen. Hurry, this offer ends December 2nd.
In life, it's good to have people you can trust. That's especially true if you're eligible for Medicare and have to choose your Medicare plan. It can be confusing, but it's important. So, who can you trust to explain Medicare and help you make the right decision for you? Hard Harvard Pilgrim. We have over 30 years of Medicare experience, and we offer a great choice of Medicare options, like our Medicare Advantage plan, an all-in-one solution, or our Medicare Supplement plan that protects you by covering the gaps in regular Medicare coverage. We're here to explain the differences, answer questions, and simplify the whole process, so you can trust that you're choosing the best coverage for you. So call Harvard Pilgrim or visit our website for your guide to understanding our Medicare options. With our long history of outstanding customer care, we won't let you down.
Meet Mike and Sarah from New England. Their Prius gives them 50 mpg, which saves them over $6,000 in fuel costs over 5 years versus the average car. Toyota Prius, a very, very smart choice. Ask someone you know who drives one.
The man accused of kidnapping and killing his own son is fighting to get out of jail tonight.
Giovanni Gonzalez vanished back in 2008, but his father Ernesto has never been convicted of the crime. He's been declared incompetent to stand trial, and now the boy's sister is speaking out. Christina Hager has the details from Salem tonight.
Ariane Charlton never even knew her younger brother existed until little Giovanni went missing 5 years ago. He would be 10 today.
I didn't know I had a little brother until 2008 in August, so it's pretty difficult realizing that your own father is maybe capable of something very horrendous like that.
It was 2008. Her father, Ernesto Gonzalez, was arrested, not in Giovanni's death, but charged with kidnapping and misleading investigators. And now 5 years later, attorneys gather in this Salem courtroom ready to drop the charges. It doesn't mean Gonzalez would walk free anytime soon. He's still facing other charges for allegedly attacking an inmate and a guard. But to complicate matters even more, the reason he's not in court now, he's been declared incompetent to stand trial.
He doesn't understand the charges against him. It's difficult to have a meaningful, significant conversation with him. And I'm afraid if you bring him up, anything could happen. He could blurt out something that isn't true.
Why did you decide today to come?
Because I really don't think my father's capable of doing what they think that he did. So hoping that with this, maybe he'll be able to open up about what had happened. Maybe he'll come out of the state that he's in right now.
She actually says she tried to visit her father in prison, but he refused to see her. And to be clear about these charges, if they're dropped, attorneys say Gonzalez could walk free in about 5 years or so. The judge expects a decision tomorrow. In Salem, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
It is a moment frozen in time. If you were alive 50 years ago, chances are you do remember where you were when you learned that President Kennedy had been shot. Straight ahead, we speak with CBS's Bob Schieffer about his strange encounter with Lee Harvey Oswald's mother.
And we'll take a look at a chilly forecast, which is a little bit cold now, but big time cold on the way. To understand the weather, you really have to go to where it's happening. We're coming to you from as high as you can get in the Northeast. There's nothing like seeing the power of nature up close. That's what we try to do here at BZ. We're putting the miles on the mobile AccuWeather lab. Even when it's calm, we love getting out there, bringing the forecast to your city or town. We're out at the Topsfield Fair tonight.
Join Eric Fisher wherever the weather takes him. Weeknights on WBZ News.
One click on buyatoyota.com and you can find the biggest selection of Toyota inventory in New England. And then see every Toyota special offer there is, even those not seen on TV. Plus, get a free independent trade-in value in seconds. Right now, see all-wheel drive leases as low as $189 a month with 2 years, no-cost maintenance. Buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals.
Longhorn knows sometimes nothing beats a great steak, but we don't stop there. It's Turf and Surf the Longhorn way. There's our sirloin and our new lobster stuffed jumbo shrimp, or our filet and our new lobster and shrimp mac and cheese. Come in tonight for Turf and Surf Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake a steak.
More people are leaving BMW, Mercedes, and exceptional values at the seasonal Audi sales event.
Visit AudiBurlington.com.
What does it feel like to get a great deal at Happy Honda Days? Like this?
Catch the spirit with a great deal on a 2013 Civic with standard features like Bluetooth and a rear view camera from KBB.com's best value brand. Right now at your Honda dealer.
The quietest dishwasher brand in the U.S. introduces a new third rack for more capacity and flexibility. See it at your local Bosch retailer.
It really was the event that changed television news forever. The assassination of President Kennedy 50 years ago was the moment when Americans began turning to television much more instead of newspapers to cover major news events.
And there's this little-known story. One of the most respected CBS News reporters, Bob Schieffer, had a brush with history that day when he was a young newspaper reporter in Texas.
President Kennedy has been given a blood transfusion at Parkland Hospital here in Dallas in an effort to save his life after he and Governor Gunn Conley of Texas were shot in an assassination attempt in downtown Dallas.
I was 26 years old, and I had rushed into the office on that awful day to just try to give him a hand on the city desk.
At the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, a young reporter named Bob Schieffer had heard the news.
It's official. As of just a few moments ago, the President of the United States is dead.
It was total bedlam, as you can imagine.
He picked up a ringing phone. It was a woman asking for a ride.
And I said, well, lady, you know, we don't run a taxi service here, and besides, the president's been shot. And she said, yes, I heard on the radio, I think my son is the one that they have arrested, and it was Lee Harvey Oswald's mother.
Did you kill the president? No, I've not been charged with that. In fact, nobody has said that to me yet. The first thing I heard about was when the newspaper reporters in the hall asked me that question.
Schieffer was now one of those reporters out in the hall. He'd given Oswald's mother an hour-long strange ride from Fort Worth to Dallas.
I think in retrospect she was deranged.
Marguerite Oswald ranted about who would care for her, never mentioning her son's arrest or concern for the dead president.
In my mind, she was really the evil person in this piece, and some of the things she said were so outrageous that I didn't put them in the story, and I probably should have.
He stayed with her at police headquarters, unnoticed for hours, calling information back to his paper.
Well, they were going to bring Oswald down to talk to his mother, and I'm standing there saying, you know, I'm going to hear this, I may get to interview him, who knows where this will go.
But an angry FBI agent finally realized he was a reporter.
And he said, son, let me tell you something. He said, you get out of here, because he said, if I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you. It's the biggest interview I almost got and didn't, but it was just this amazing adventure in the midst of this great tragedy.
Bob also talked about how the assassination affected him personally, and I asked how it did change TV news, and he added, it changed everything forever. If you'd like to watch the entire interview with Bob, we've put it on our website at cbsboston.com.
Well, you know, you start to approach Thanksgiving and you try to find warm pockets, places to escape across the country. And South Florida would be a good choice right now. South Texas, many others, though, dealing with the chill. And certainly we're in that category. Temperatures in the 30s this evening, with some spots already dropping into the 20s. Taunton's down to 29. Mark in Lunenburg just emailed, said 25 degrees in his backyard and 32 in Worcester. So certainly it will be another chilly night ahead. Many spots back down into the 20s, some into the teens tonight. Keene, 18 degrees. Pittsfield at 18, 24 in Providence, and Chatham down around 30. There will be a couple of very cold pockets when we start the day tomorrow. Reason for that, we've got calming winds, we've got clear skies, good radiational cooling, not too many clouds anywhere here to the northeast, and tomorrow's another fairly peaceful day. We're going to do a little bit better than today in terms of comfortability. 20s to start things off with sunrise at 6:43. We're into the low to mid-40s at lunchtime, mostly sunny, some cirrus clouds in the sky, and again, the wind will be fairly calm, a very light breeze, and in the evening, we're starting to drop back through the lower 40s. This is about as warm as it gets in our 7-day forecast. We'll be watching those clouds for tomorrow afternoon, starting to move in, but when we really feel is Friday. A gray end to the week, warm front pressing in, not a lot of lift, not a ton of moisture with this, but there'll be some spots of light showers or flurries. That's anywhere from Friday morning through Friday evening. The cold front itself moves through early on Saturday, maybe a couple of showers with it. Again, this does not look like a significant rain event. And the cold air waits. We get to enjoy a decent amount of Saturday before the secondary cold front right here with all these snow squalls starts to approach. That moves in Saturday night and brings in a very cold air mass for Sunday. So around 50 degrees on Saturday. This is the warmest day we foresee for the next couple of weeks here in New England, in the Boston area. Maybe a morning shower. Most of the day's dry. It's breezy in the afternoon. It is downright windy and cold on Sunday. If the high in Boston is below freezing, it will be the first time since all the way back the day after our February blizzard. It's been a while. And we'll have some snow showers around the area on Sunday to boot. Now, in terms of getting in the holiday spirit, maybe the snow showers do it for you. Of course, we're lighting the big Christmas tree at Faneuil Hall in downtown Boston. Some patch of clouds, breezy and cold, but pretty seasonable, down into the 30s. I think weather will cooperate for this. The big cold won't be here yet. Also, we might have heard a little bit of chatter about a potential storm next week. We're going to have this big trough of cold air in the east. Watching this energy, a little cutoff low sneaks in. This is with our subtropical jet. When we get to this time of year, we start to talk nor'easters. You always watch that subtropical jet. Heading into next week, this is going to be a big rainmaker and severe weather maker potential in the southeast. The question is, out to sea or up the coast? Proverbial question with winter forecasting, right? Well, for now, we're talking about mainly out to sea, but it will be a very close call Wednesday into Thursday. The cold is the biggest focus of our forecast here, especially Sunday, I think, at Gillette. January feel frigid for that 8:30 start. And then, well, the 30s are here for quite a while. It's come. It is upon us.
We knew it was. All right, Eric, thanks very much. On the Health Watch, we know doctors often tell heart and stroke patients to take a low-dose aspirin every single day. Well, now they may tell you to take the medication before bedtime. Both heart attacks and strokes are more likely to happen while you are sleeping or in the morning. Researchers say that taking an aspirin at night can actually prevent blood clots from forming while you sleep.
People magazine's getting a big thumbs up from the ladies for its new cover. Take a look. The magazine just named singer Adam Levine the sexiest man alive. The Maroon 5 frontman says he was amazed and stunned by the magazine's decision. Past title holders, of course, have been Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Channing Tatum. And singer Kelly Clarkson tweeted the news. She's expecting her first child. She writes, "I'm pregnant. Brandon and I are so excited. Best early Christmas present ever." The 31-year-old married Brandon Blackston, a talent manager, last month. Blackston has 2 children from a previous marriage.
It is a holiday classic come to life on the stage. A Christmas Story. Talk about energy, that looks fun. A Christmas Story, the musical, has all your favorite elements of the popular 80s film. Young Ralphie still wants the Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, and yes, one character's tongue gets stuck to a frozen flagpole. Can't imagine that happening. The musical opens tonight at the Wayne Theater in Boston. It runs through December 8th. Tickets start at about $45.
Best song. You can shoot your eye out. They've got it in there. Well, unlimited talk, text, and data.
Certainly sounds great, but are you really using what you pay for? Straight ahead for us, cutting through the confusion and helping you save money on your cell phone bill. Now let's check back with Jack and Lisa to see what's coming up next at 6.
Jonathan and Paula, busy night. We're working on 2 breaking stories.
In arrest in the hit-and-run death of a father in Middleborough, the teenager now being held responsible, and what police say he did to try to cover up the crime.
And an evacuation slide starts opening in the cabin of a JetBlue flight to Boston. A veteran pilot will help us understand exactly what happened here during a most bizarre incident next.
The sight of an orchard on a beautiful fall day, the scent of morning dew on the first harvest, the touch of a helping hand that yields the perfect pick. But nothing is as sweet as the taste of the final slice. Marie Callender's knows every pie is made with only the best ingredients and prepared with care.
freezer is the care we take to make them special. It's important for Marie Callender's pies to be made with premium ingredients that are fresh and taste homemade, because those are pies used to celebrate special events with your family. We use fresh Fuji apples. We evaluate both the sweetness of it as well as the texture, and we also make sure that the apples are cut to the proper size so that when they're cooked, they all have the same firm texture. We use pure cane sugar, premium cinnamon. We actually have apple lattice stretched by hand at the bakery so that every pie has a perfect basket weave on the top. Marie Callender's pies taste like homemade, and they contain, frankly, the best ingredients that you can have.
From the peeled and sliced apples to the signature hand touches of the other fruit and cream pies, Marie Callender's great tasting desserts are always made with the highest quality ingredients and special care that remind you of home.
Marie Callender's pies have a lot of signature touches that make it look as though your grandmother made it. The meringue is actually peaked by hand. We also put the chocolate curls on the pies by hand. It is as fresh as though you baked it at the bakery.
This holiday season and year-round, enjoy the delicious homemade taste of Marie Callender's single-serve and full-size fruit and cream pies. And don't forget to top your pie with the real cream goodness of Ready Whip topping. Pick up a Marie Callender's pie in the freezer aisle and learn more at supermarketguru.com.
Monthly bills that only seems to keep going up, our cell phone bills.
Yeah, but as our David Wade shows us, many customers may be paying a lot more than they really need to.
Hello?
To cover talk time, texting, and data, the Boone family pays about $240 a month. They'd like to pay less, but they're not sure which phone plan to pick.
It's a huge headache to try to figure this stuff out.
The mobile analytics firm Validas found Americans overpaid their phone bills by $52 billion last year. The biggest culprit, high or unlimited data.
People are overbuying in the fear that they're going to go over, but in fact what they keep doing is never using those gigabytes they're buying.
So how do you know if you're on the right plan? Well, most major cell phone companies offer plan calculators on their websites. You can also call your carrier for an analysis. It's good to review at least 3 months' worth of bills. By ditching the unlimited data and switching to a shared plan instead, the Boones could save $400 a year.
Because they have different sets of users and people that need all kinds of different things. And, the one-size-fits-all is not going to work.
Now, some people don't switch plans because they're worried they'll end up with a plan that doesn't have enough minutes, not enough texts, or not enough data. But keep in mind, nearly all phone customers now receive alerts when they're about to go over their plan, so customers don't wind up with that much bigger bill than expected. I'm David Wade, WBZ News.
I think family plan's a little bit of a shocker once parents see how much kids text.
It's not cheap.
Well, we have much more news still ahead.
That's going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but the news at 6 starts now.
2 breaking stories. A plane makes an emergency landing after the evacuation slide opens in the cabin.
And an arrest in the hit-and-run death of a Middleborough father.
Fighting to get back on the field. How a football team traumatized by a hate crime is now trying to save the season.
Oh, another sunny but cool day. I think it's chilly for now. Wait till you see what we have for this weekend.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
In breaking news tonight, a JetBlue flight to Boston makes an emergency landing. This after an evacuation chute opens inside the cabin. The plane had just left Fort Myers, Florida, heading for Boston when the emergency happened. I'm Jack Whitty.
I'm Lisa Hughes. The flight was carrying 77 people. The pilots immediately landed in Orlando. Kate Merrill joins us from our satellite center with this breaking story, and this had to have been scary, Kate.
Lisa, this happened at 3:40 this afternoon, and that is when the emergency slide deployed in the front galley of the Boston-bound plane. That's the area where passengers usually board the plane. The pilots were then forced to make an emergency landing in Orlando just 5 minutes later.
These are pictures from the Orlando International Airport. The plane taxied to the terminal after landing, and passengers deplaned from the rear door of the plane. There were 77 people on board, 73 of them passengers, and we know there were no injuries. Now here you can see the plane's flight path today. See that green line? It starts in Fort Myers where the plane took off at 2:53 today. Now the plane had just cleared the Florida coastline there at 3:40 when that slide deployed. The plane came down just 5 minutes later at 3:45 in Orlando. Now Steve Cunningham is a commercial pilot who also runs a flight training facility in Nashua. He was not on board this plane but explains what this must have been like.
It very much would be like an airbag in a car deploying. Because the door was closed, the airbag could only go back into the cabin, right behind the cockpit. In all likelihood, I think I'm guessing that it was a front door bag, and it really probably rattled the passengers and the crew as well. I don't think that it created any apparent safety damage or questions at all. Because it deployed inside the bag, and the bag deployed inside the cabin, and just probably filled up the doorway some. But I'm sure you got people's attention.
JetBlue confirms it was the L1 slide that partially deployed, and at no point were those airplane doors ever not secure. The aircraft has been taken out of service while it is inspected again. Another plane will take those passengers to Boston. Live in the Satellite Center, Kate Merrill, WBZ News. Jack, back to you.
Thank you, Kate. More breaking news tonight. An arrest in the hit-and-run death that killed a Middleborough father. Police say the driver is a teenager who pretended he'd hit a deer. Whitney Burbank, live in Middleborough. Whitney?
Jack, tonight a college student is in custody in connection to the hit-and-run death of 58-year-old Michael Dutra. Now, prosecutors say the teen didn't just flee the scene. They say he tried to cover the whole thing up. On October 11th, prosecutors allege UMass Dartmouth student Eric Megna was driving home from campus when he hit Dutra. Dutra was struck while riding his bike near his house. Now, prosecutors say rather than stop and assist the dying father of two, Megna allegedly fled to his family's New Hampshire vacation home. A few days later, Megna told New Hampshire State Police that he hit a deer, and prosecutors say he tried to use a photo of a dead deer from the web to back it all up. But when police looked at Megna's Jeep, they didn't find fur or animal remains. Instead, they found damage consistent with striking a person. Police discovered the jagged pieces missing from Megna's Jeep matched the debris left behind at the Middleborough hit-and-run scene. Megna is expected to be arraigned tomorrow in Wareham District Court. For now, we're live in Middleborough. Whitney Burbank at WBZ News. Lisa?
Whitney, thank you. To weather now, and another cold start to this day. At least it wasn't as windy. Our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, joins us now with an AccuWeather forecast. Eric?
You know, Lisa, in the summertime, the summer breeze feels good. The breeze in late November doesn't feel so good. And fortunately, today we didn't have to deal with too much of it. Clear skies tonight. Not too much happening across the region. Just the cold temperatures down through the 20s. Few spots west of Boston, down into the teens tonight. And again, no wind chill factor here, mainly quiet conditions in terms of that. Now, as we look at the next few days, we're staying cool. Tomorrow's another day in the 40s, mix of sun and clouds. Not too much wind on Thursday either. Friday, gray. A couple showers are possible, but not too much appreciable rainfall. And Saturday at 51 is as warm as it may get for at least a couple of weeks here in the Boston area. Big Arctic plunge on the way. We've got the details in a few minutes. Lisa?
All right, thank you, Eric. New at 6 tonight, making the case to stay on the field. People in Lunenburg are rallying around the football team after its season ended abruptly.
Yeah, the superintendent decided to forfeit the Thanksgiving game because of questions about racism against one of the players and some opponents. Ken McLeod, he joins us now live in Lunenburg. Ken.
Jack, in about 30 minutes, many parents will plead with school officials here to uncancel the traditional Thanksgiving football game. They feel for a young player targeted by racist graffiti, but they also argue the remedy has gone overboard. The makeshift sign outside this auto repair shop is simple.
Being the father of a senior player, I mean, this is probably the last football he'll ever play.
Owner Les Zabady has a son on the Lunenburg High Blue Knights football team, whose Thanksgiving game has been scrapped.
I think that we don't have a guilty party, so we're just, lashing out at everybody on the team.
Make no mistake, Zabady and other football parents here condemn what happened to 8th grade player Isaac Phillips. the son of a black dad and white mom who had racist graffiti spray painted on his home last week. On Monday, after learning Lunenburg players had shouted racial slurs at Worcester opponents 2 weeks ago, school officials canceled the Blue Knights' final game.
The school committee made a mistake.
Last night, parents and players told selectmen the punishment was misguided and unfair, considering the spray painters are still unknown, and many townspeople seem to agree.
I think it's horrible, to be honest with you.
Others, however, believe the mounting pressure and angst here might just flush out the culprits.
Obviously, somebody knows who did this, because you don't do something like this around town and not speak about it.
Meantime, the victim's family, who never sought the cancellation of any games, feels like they are somehow being blamed for it now.
Instead of being upset and directing it at us, they need to direct it at the person who did it.
Les Zabady believes there will be more healing from a game played, with Isaac and family welcomed on the sidelines.
Eventually, the truth's going to come out. We will find out who did this. But as far as the Thanksgiving game, let's not break tradition. Let's play.
Isaac has not attended school this week. He is still thinking about a transfer. The team Lunenburg was supposed to play St. Bernard's is now scrambling for a new Thanksgiving opponent. Live in Lunenburg tonight, Ken McLeod, WBZ News. Lisa?
We'll see what happens at that meeting. Ken, thank you. 2 kids and a driver had to go to the hospital after a school bus crashed into a guardrail on the Mass Pike. Now, everybody's going to be okay. The 2 kids and the driver were the only people on board. We don't know yet what caused this crash. People in Boston's North End are mourning the loss of a longtime neighbor who police say was run down by a woman who was driving drunk. 71-year-old Vittorio Recupero was killed on his way home to Wakefield last night. He was standing outside his car on Route 95 in Reading. A Brockton woman is accused of hitting him. Recupero ran a North End tailor shop for decades, and people who live in that neighborhood consider him a friend.
He's just a good guy, a decent, hard-working man. I don't know if there's nothing else I can even say. I'm really upset.
He's got an awesome family, you know. They're great, you know. The kids, the grandkids, everybody's going to miss him, you know.
Recupero also taught judo at a studio in Somerville, and he was on his way home from that studio when he was killed.
Attorney General Eric Holder says deciding whether to pursue the death penalty for the marathon bombing suspect is one of the toughest calls of his career. Federal prosecutors will give Holder their recommendation first, but ultimately, it is his decision whether to try to get the death penalty for Johar Tsarnaev. Holder spoke with CBS News' Bob Orr about what will happen next.
It will then come into Main Justice, where it will be reviewed by our Capital Case Committee. The Deputy Attorney General will make recommendations before ultimately all of these recommendations are reviewed by me, and then I have the responsibility of making the determination of whether or not we will seek the death penalty. But this eventually comes to your desk. It is the single most difficult thing that I do as Attorney General. There are lots of recommendations that come to me, but the decision ultimately is mine alone.
By the way, Holder is expected to make his decision by the end of January. Coming up on WBZ News, presidents paying tribute to John F. Kennedy, and the pieces of the Kennedy legacy on sale this weekend.
An artist who set off a citywide bomb scare years ago gets hired for first night, and why Mayor Menino insists it's no problem.
Then on Wednesday's Child, how about baking cookies with Meg? She's smart, she's adorable, she's a 15-year-old. I asked her what she would bring to a family. Her answer, I think, will crack you up.
Looking forward to that, Jack. You know, baked goods and crock pot weather this weekend as cold air moves in. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
It's Happy Honda Days, our biggest sales event of the year. At Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, and at Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda CR-V for just $128 per month. Come on down! That's right, lease a brand new CR-V 4x4 for just $128 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
Everything you're looking for. On the play, false start, 5-year penalty.
That's no way to enjoy the game. You need my Bob's All Value team.
Give him what he really wants. Electric fireplace with heat and remote. No must, no fuss, no fire danger.
6-speaker soundbar and subwoofer with remote.
Connect your TV or DVD.
Built-in iPod dock or use Bluetooth.
Last but not least, a frosty fridge.
Only $9.99.
Are you happy?
He's happy.
Gonna need more, not
of the things that interested us in moving out to the country was that we really wanted to contribute to something, and the cafe is one manifestation of that.
Let's create a place where people could come and gather and talk. I think that our children have learned from us taking this risk. Witnessing us when they give them the courage to try something. We are the Lichtentals, and we have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The Toyota Tacoma, massive one-piece frame rails, fully boxed subframe. It's built to face New England's toughest conditions. Question is, can it face its toughest critics? Evidently, yes. The Toyota Tacoma, not only tough, but an incredible value. Ask someone you know who drives one.
Welcome to Eastern Bank. How can I help you, Mr. Wolford?
I'd like to make a deposit, please.
Great. What do you have today?
Just a few things. She's a princess.
This year, Eastern Bank is teaming up with Toys for Tots.
Wow, big deposit today.
So please, bring a new, unwrapped toy to any Eastern Bank branch, and let's all make the holidays a bit brighter for families who need it most.
More people are leaving BMW, Mercedes, and Lexus for Audi than ever before. The holidays won't last, and neither will the exceptional values at the Season of Audi sales event.
Visit AudiBurlington.com.
Breaking news just in. Whitey Bulger has officially filed an appeal on his racketeering conviction. A judge sentenced the former Boston mobster to 2 life sentences plus 5 years last week. You'll remember Bulger called his trial a sham. He refused to testify. He had hoped to use an immunity defense during the trial, but the judge in the case ruled there is no evidence showing that Bulger had any sort of deal with the federal government.
A tribute to John F. Kennedy from 2 of his successors, President Obama and President Clinton and their wives, placed a wreath at Kennedy's grave. Friday marks the 50th anniversary of JFK's death. Members of the Kennedy family were also at Arlington National Cemetery today, including Ethel Kennedy and JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg. America has an enduring fascination with the Camelot era. There will be a huge auction of JFK memorabilia this weekend in Amesbury. At John McGinnis Auctioneers, 10,000 pieces are on the block, including photos, JFK's Cape Cod rocking chair, and some campaign materials. This is one of the largest collections of Kennedy memorabilia ever, and most of it the public has never seen.
We're here in Massachusetts, so we have a certain interest anyway, but it's attracted national and international levels of interest because of everything that the Kennedy stood for, and that it was a new beginning. And it runs from things that are going to be $50 to $100 to $50,000 to $100,000.
One of the most interesting items for sale is this film assembled by the Secret Service the day President Kennedy was killed. You can actually go to the Amesbury shop and get a preview of what's in the auction. You can also check it out online.
Mayor Menino says the past is the past, and that's why he's okay with First Night hiring an artist who triggered a citywide bomb scare back 6 years ago. In 2007, small lighted boards were put all around the city to promote a movie. Well, the devices triggered a panic. They sent the bomb squad scrambling across Boston. Peter Berdovsky was one of the artists. He was charged and later performed community service. Now, he's going to be responsible for a light display on the Boston Public Library on New Year's Eve.
You know, everybody makes mistakes. You know, forgive those mistakes. And it's a legitimate business.
You know, Turner Broadcasting was actually behind the stunt back then, and they paid the city a settlement. Well, it was a little chilly today, but the sun was out. But boy, I'm hearing harbingers of a chilly Sunday.
That's right. Things are going to change just in time for the Pats game, right, Eric?
It's going to be, I don't want to say brutal, because, you know, a lot of folks get really excited about these cold games at Gillette. It's going to be feeling like January playoff atmosphere, but you better believe the cold is is coming. Today was chilly enough, 43 the high, 29 the low, about 7 degrees below average for this time of the year, which is kind of in the acceptable range on either side of average. Not just cold air, though, but very dry air. I'm sure a lot of you noticing skin's a little itchy, and we got chapped lips. Well, dew points were in the single digits to low teens today. That is the reason, and believe it or not, drier air will move in along with that colder air Sunday into Monday. It's all clear across the Northeast. We'll have quite a bit of starlight tonight and moonlight. No rocket launch to watch, but still beautiful and certainly chilly. Layers if you're heading out and about. Some teams will be on the map, especially as we move out toward Keene and Pittsfield, northern Worcester County. This is where temperatures will really drop back. About 29 in Boston and 20s to around 30 out toward the Cape. So a wintry feel, but no wind tonight and not much wind tomorrow either. So bundle up for the morning. Just going to bear it and get outside. Face the cold, but by midday we're in the 40s. We're in the mid to upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. With a lot of sun, not much wind, it should feel pretty comfortable for this time of the year. We are watching some changes, though, as we head toward the end of the week. After those few cirrus clouds move out tomorrow, a thicker deck of clouds moves in for Friday. So it's a mainly gray day, warm front trying to approach the region. And then you notice a few showers here and there as we head through the course of Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a snow shower or two mixed in. Just going to be a gray, damp, and cool day as we end out the week, but not major significant rainfall, which we could still really use. Then we look toward the weekend. That same system that brings some showers on Friday moves offshore. That's not the one that really delivers the big cold. So we manage a decent Saturday out of it. The Arctic front is this one, and that moves through on Saturday night. That's going to bring in the coldest air since all the way back in February. Bitter wind chills back in the single digits for that Patriots game. And I think the cold air is here to stay for the next couple of weeks. No indications that a warm-up will return anytime soon. If you're heading out to enjoy the tree lighting at Faneuil Hall, we're looking at 30s, breezy, patchy clouds, but for the most part, weather should cooperate. If you don't want to come on out, want to watch it from the warm confines of your living room, you can do that too, right here on WBZ. And then we're talking about a potential storm for next week. Little cutoff low is what we'll be watching. This is going to move down across the south, and as we head toward winter, you hear us talk about phasing. Will this phase with the northern jet? Right now, it looks like this is going to slide out to sea, but it will be a very close call, so we'll be keeping our eyes on it still 7 days out. But it would be on Wednesday to Thursday, obviously, a very busy time. Chilly air for the next couple of days. Again, enjoy your Saturday, Sunday. Very, very cold. Good weather to stay inside, hunker down. Monday will follow suit. Some towns Monday morning will be in the single digits. Jack, Lisa, back to you.
Ooh, all right, Eric. Between now and then, though, be sure to join us Saturday night. Eric mentioned it. The Faneuil Hall tree lighting promises to be spectacular. Our special starts 7:30 that evening.
What was that?
Ooh, well, just the temperatures. I'm bracing myself. Cats won't feel it, though. They'll be working hard.
Yeah, it'll be fun out the old Gillette.
Colder the better. That's what I say. The colder the better for Peyton Manning.
Oh,
that's what I'm looking at.
All right.
Looking a little bit different. All right, we're past the halfway point, and people are hurting. Yes, Peyton Manning, the Broncos are coming to town. As for the Patriots, multiple reports say quarterback Alfonso Dennard had minor knee surgery over the weekend and will be out a few weeks. As for Manning, he skipped Denver's practice today to rest a sore ankle. Now, league rules kept Wes Welker from taking part in Broncos practice today because he suffered a concussion on Sunday. Meanwhile, Levin Reed says it was immediate madness today down in Foxborough.
Packed house for Patriots Wednesday, and there's still some remnants from Monday night.
My mom thought it was a penalty. Does that count? Our moms are on the same page.
Denver up, and even though Wes Welker is questionable with a concussion, Tom Brady expects to see his former teammate on the opposing sidelines.
But he's a tough guy, so he's played through everything. And, it was a big game for both teams, so you got to expect their best players, and I'm sure all those guys will be ready to go.
The defense will probably have to play their best game. Peyton Manning is running the Bronco offense at a record clip.
He knows every single route, what's going on. He's changing the play at the line of scrimmage, trying to give, their offense the best play against the defense.
He's great at reading them defenses, so you got to do a great job at trying to disguise or whatever your plan is. You got to be playing a great plan with Peyton.
Back to penalty flag gate, and Bill Belichick opened up today's press conference by saying, we are moving on to Denver to 2 Monday Night Football questions. He's moving on, but not everybody else has. This is the cover of Patriots Football Weekly. Seems like a lot of people still have Carolina on their minds. At Gillette Stadium, I'm Levin Reed, WBZ Sports.
All right, Levin, how do you argue with Mom? Be sure to catch Patriots All Access Friday night at 7 on WBZ. I sit down with Patriots defensive end Rob Ninkovich. Get started Sunday. The Patriots game day at 11:30. Pats and Broncos play on Sunday Night Football. After the game, turn right here to WBZ for the 5th quarter post-game show. To hockey. Nice win for the Bruins last night in New York. Daniel Paez, short-handed goal, but the Bees up 2-0 in the second. And that was enough for Tuukka Rask. tied a career high with 43 saves. Bruins take it 2-1. They'll host the Blues at the Garden tomorrow night. As for the Celtics, well, they got their doors blown off in Houston last night. Check out Rajon Rondo reaction reading the stat sheet as the Rockets scored 40 points in the first quarter. 40 points. C's dropped their fourth in a row, 109-85. They'll play the Spurs in San Antonio tonight, who, by the way, have won 7th in a row. So that's not going to be a picnic either.
Rajon will really help when he comes back.
When he comes back.
Thank you, Steve.
Exactly.
CBS Evening News is coming up next at 6:30.
And once again, Scott Pelley joins us live from New York City with a preview. Scott?
Jack, Lisa, great to be with you in Boston. We have a remarkable interview on the broadcast tonight. Clint Hill, the only Secret Service agent to reach President Kennedy as the shots were being fired in Dallas almost 50 years ago. Hill will tell us what he saw, and he will tell us what the First Lady said to the President after he was wounded in his dying moments. The Clint Hill interview and the rest of the world news for you on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. Still to come tonight on Wednesday's Child. You know, Meg is funny and smart, and you're going to be charmed by her warmth and humor.
The Philippines has been devastated by Typhoon Haiyan. Thousands have lost their lives, and there's been massive property damage.
The victims urgently need your help. Visit cbsboston.com for information or to make a donation.
CBS Boston cares.
They think we're killers.
Some family secrets can't stay buried forever. As people are victims of your rage. New Criminal Minds, then.
Room 114. You know something, I've been here.
4 murders in the same room.
Something's going on in that motel room. I still think we're dealing with random events.
This is the most unlucky motel room. All new CSI after an all-new Criminal Minds, CBS tonight.
You can buy this Selects recliner or this Selects dinette for only $199. Or spend $9.99 at Bernie & Phil's Furniture and choose a Selects item for free. Dress up your home for the holidays and save with a Bernie & Phil Select single piece or a whole new room of stylish furniture.
This is BMW Gallery at your service. It's where you get the right service and the right repair right on time. Plus, the Gallery Rewards program saves you money on original BMW parts, service, and more. And save big with BMW Value Service and get a great price on oil changes. BMW Gallery is convenient with 2 locations to keep your ultimate driving machine performing at its best. That's sure to keep you smiling. That's the art of exceeding expectations. BMW Gallery, Norwood and Norwell.
Be there for the excitement as the curtain goes up. The sights, the sounds, the dazzling sets, sparkling costumes, the magical music of the orchestra. As Boston Ballet presents Mikko Nissinen's production of The Nutcracker. Traditional, yet reimagined. A holiday treat for the whole family. Opening November 29th at the Boston Opera House. Boston's #1 holiday tradition will sell out. Visit bostonballet.org today. Presented by State Street Corporation.
Soon, Cambridge Eye Doctors will become VisionWorks. With the same people in insurance, it's everything you trust about Cambridge Eye Doctors and more. And now get 2 complete pairs for $99. Or no-line bifocals for $179.
This is the land of Kerrygold. Here farmers graze their cows on lush grass, as nature intended. And this great grass gives us the delicious butter that we call Kerrygold. Kerrygold, pure Irish butter.
Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Subaru takes you safely on adventures and brings you home memories. Buy a brand new 2014 all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza, well equipped for only $17,895.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
You can buy this Selects fold-down sofa or this Selects platform bed for only $199. Or spend $9.99 at Bernie & Phil's Furniture and choose a Selects item for free. Dress up your home for the holidays and save with a Bernie & Phil Select single piece or a whole new room of stylish furniture.
Now on Wednesday's Child, we hear a pretty eloquent plea from a 15-year-old girl who wants prospective parents to remember the older children who still dream about getting an adoptive home.
Her name is Meg. In spite of personal disappointments, she refuses to be down still hopes for a bright future.
I don't care how many parents there are, like, if there's one or two. I don't care if they're the same sex. Like, I just want a family. Like, anything will be fine for me. Hi, everybody. With the holidays coming up, I decided to make you some cookies.
Yeah, they look pretty tasty. Are they fattening?
No, probably not.
I took 15-year-old Meg to create a cook in Newton. With the help of Mindy, Meg was able to create a variety of delicious holiday cookies. What would you bring to a family, Meg?
I don't know, just my awesomeness.
I mean, would you help around the house? Do you mind? Are you basically cheerful?
I don't know, like, I'll help out with anything. If they have kids, I'll help out with them, too.
Who do you want to be when you grow up?
Still want to be a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, I remember that now. That's right, you like those little kids.
Love little kids.
I first met Meg 4 years ago, and we linked her with a family. But it didn't work out. Not Meg's fault. Well, she insisted on trying again with me on another Wednesday's Child.
I think it's important for me to find a family because not a lot of 15-year-olds, actually teenagers in general, can find a family because they're like, oh, let's get the little kids first, and you're forgetting about the teens. So I think it's important that we get a family too.
Just brush your heart.
Yeah, her awesomeness sparkles.
Oh, she's an unbelievable girl. I've known her, for 4 years, and it's the right family. She is just going to do so well. For more information on Meg, you can call the Massachusetts Adoption Resource Exchange, 1-800-882-1176. And, of course, for success stories, check out my website, JackWilliamsWednesdaysChild.com.
Notice you didn't bring back any of those cookies, Jack.
He didn't offer me one either, by the way.
They looked good. We'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. We're dedicated to helping our members live happier, healthier lives.
They're setting up shop in town after town, in quiet plazas, on suburban streets.
And they're operating in plain sight.
Absolutely.
With names like Bodyworks or Reflexology.
They are doing a big business.
But the IT found something else happening inside.
It sickens me.
The alarming secret and a growing problem for local police. Thursday on WBZ News at 11.
With the exceptional values at the Season of Audi sales event.
Visit AudiBurlington.com.
Together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and man. Come on now, people. Come on now, people. Let's work together.
A wet basement can be a homeowner's worst nightmare. CrackX, industry leader in foundation crack repair, solves concrete problems permanently and affordably. Call us for a free estimate or visit us at crackx.com. CrackX, 25 years of stopping leaks, guaranteed.
Beautifully practical and practically beautiful Cadillac SRX.
Lease this 2014 SRX for around $369 per month. Visit NewYorkCadillac.com for this attractive offer.
Don't miss America's favorite foursome from the most beloved television program in history. Live and in color for the very first time. I Love Lucy. Live on stage.
Coming December 3rd through 22nd. Get tickets at LexusBroadwayInBoston.com.
Save up to 80%. 18-karat bands that sell elsewhere for $2,700 are $539. 2-carat 3-stone rings and studs are $29.90, and 1-carat studs are $5.99. Buy diamond and factory direct, the jewelry exchange in Sudbury.
One click on buyatoyota.com and you can find the biggest selection of Toyota inventory. And then see every Toyota special offer there is, even those not seen on TV. Buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals.
When you wake up, switch things up and join David, Carrie, Todd, and Michelle.
Finally, the team is together.
There you go. WBZ News in the morning. Let's start the day together.
Coming up tonight on WBZ News at 11, we are living longer, and it means more of us will need assisted living as we age. The I-Team, though, found some employees at those facilities and family members with real concerns about this growing model of care. What you need to know, that's tonight at 11 here on WBZ. And before we go, another look at our weather. Sounds like we're on borrowed time between now and Sunday.
It's coming. That's the moral of the weather story tonight. Tomorrow's pretty nice, a chilly day. Saturday, not a bad start to the weekend, and the bottom falls out, and the cold is here.
So if you like that, get ready.
Yes, I think everyone will see at least one snowflake by Thanksgiving. Take that to the bank.
Okay.
One snowflake. There's hope.
Just one.
That does it for us. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you later.